Hi, this is Sushant Singh Rajput and you're watching Bollywood Hungama.
Being a good actor isn't easy, being a man is even harder. I want to be both before I'm done. That's what James Dean said, and Sushant Singh Rajput had tweeted it a few days back. So we have with us Sushant Singh Rajput, or Detective Byomkesh Bakshy, as many are calling him. Huge pleasure to have you back on Bollywood Hungama, first of all.
Thank you, Faridoon.
I was just going through your Twitter timeline and some of your interviews. I think you're quite a philosopher. You like just quoting from Socrates and Nietzsche and James Dean and all sorts of people.
Of course, I think in last few years I've realized that all opinions I had,
Right.
there's no truth to it, or they are very abstract.
Right.
And then also interacting with Dibakar and Shekhar over the last 1.5 to 2 years.
Right, Shekhar Kapoor.
Shekhar Kapoor, is when I realized, okay, we have these strong opinions because
Right.
of what we believe in, but just because we don't know so many things about so many things is why we are so, we are holding on to those opinions.
Right.
So I started opening out, maybe that's why.
I believe while you're acting, you just close your mobile for I think months, and people can't access you, and you're not invited to parties and events. That's what you've said in one of the interviews.
Yeah.
So for an actor, it is important to just totally get away from all the communication whatsoever.
I think whatever it takes, you have to have that frame of mind where you can try to create something new. So I mean, like, there can be different process to do the same thing. This was important for this particular film because the era that we are talking about is 1940s,
Right.
and there was no internet, there was no phones,
Right.
there was no mineral water, there was no automatic cars. So
Right.
all the things that I could have done to start with to break the pattern that we normally live in, I started with that, and then I worked on the characters and other nuances of the film.
The Bach Ke Bakshy song, I think for the first time we tend to we get to see your dancing skills. You are a trained dancer from Shamak's academy, but this is something which is totally I think outstanding, which is unexpected in a way.
Yeah.
Some way, because we've not seen you dancing and dancing like this in the
Right.
first place, and that too in a period film 1940s, and you're having like totally techno and all that stuff.
Sure.
So how come such a sort of dance was required for a promotional video of Bakshy?
I think there were three things. One, we wanted a dance song, of course,
Right.
to promote the film. So that was the starting idea. The second most important thing was to have a video that kind of punctuates some message that's not that distinct in the film.
Right.
So Dibakar told me, okay, there is Byomkesh in each and every one of us. We want to seek the truth. We want to say what we actually want to say, but we fight it most of the times. So why not we come up with this idea that, and the third problem was, how will Byomkesh Bakshy dance? So he came up with this idea. He told me that, okay, there will be a video in which Sushant will enter, and there is a crime scene, and he plays a song, and that song kind of possesses Sushant Singh Rajput,
Right.
as me. And so the choreography should not be very, I mean, like, the dance steps should not look very choreographed. It has to be a very abstract form of expressing, because he's not dancing it, the dance steps are kind of possessing the guy. And very gradually in that video is when Sushant will gradually transform into Byomkesh Bakshy. So that was the
Right.
bottom line of that video.
And Lorraine has choreographed
Yes.
the song, and I think what you've seen of her in ABCD, we can just relate to it. That this is something I think that she really enjoys. The entire, I think, techno beats and
Yes.
the movements.
Yeah.
Now, Dibakar Banerjee has this, I think, uncanny knack for playing with the form of his storytelling, in terms of the way he just narrates his stories, which is very unconventional.
True.
He always has a certain surprise value,
Yeah.
which we're seeing both either in the Bakshy song as well as the promos. I think there's a sudden entry of the Chinese element, and then you're having this romantic element as well, and then you're having this murder mystery somewhere as well. How do you adapt to something like this?
I think the way he tries to communicate the same thing is not very deliberate to surprise everybody who's watching it. He does it because he has his own way of communicating the same thing. I mean, like, he is a kind of filmmaker that can see beneath the surface. He is the kind of filmmaker who will never tell you that, okay, this is the shot, and as an audience you're supposed to think or see this or sense this. So it's very abstract, and this is a very important a reason why I said yes to this film, because I always look for this sort of abstractness in a script, and it has to do with the intuitive comprehension than logic. So he has this, and there's another very important reason why he's doing the way he is in this film is he told me that, okay, this is a period film, so anything that you'll see in the frame is very, very period correct. So everything apart from the language part of it, so everything, every nuance, mannerism, everything that you'll see in the frame is period correct, but the way of saying the same thing has to be very contemporary, because we need to tell it to a modern youth or a contemporary youth. So all the artistic tricks that he could use in terms of editing, in terms of visuals, in terms of background score, in terms of the music that he's using.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It's to cater to this audience who can relate to it, and then he'll be excited and he'll see something that's way period.
What one expects from a period movie is in terms of the color, but there's a lot of thrill element into it. That I think the pace, at least on the promos, it's very, very fast paced, and you're saying that it's primarily catering to the youthful audience.
Of course, I don't think it has changed since last 60 years. I think the most fundamental thing that should be there in a film, especially of this genre, is if you can sustain the idea of what's going to happen next. So that's the first thing that we, as a filmmaker, you get to learn. Okay, this is something that should be consistent in a film. So Sharadindu's stories, all the 31 and 32, it's got a style, and he is able to maintain that thing. So everything that he has done with the script, everything, all the things that you were saying, that okay, there's a Japanese invasion happening, there is Chinese guys, there are American GIs in the film, there is a opium trade in the film, there is a Calcutta underworld very thriving at that point of time, there is Indian National Army. So these are the things that were there in Calcutta at that point of time. Also because of Sharadindu, what he has written, so he has kept the essence alive. He has kind of created that consistent what if, what next thing in the film. I think it doesn't change whether it's 1940s or it's a story of 70s or 2050.
When you read about Byomkesh Bakshy and when they were written, I think in 1930s, something that was very distinct was the entire aspect of this virility and this entire sexual undertones in Byomkesh Bakshy, especially in his early days. That is something which I think is distinctly present in Byomkesh Bakshy as well. One of the characters is loosely based on Mata Hari, I believe, which is, I think, looking quite interesting as well.
Byomkesh at that point of time, when he was like graduating from a college, till then he has always been a loner. He has never interacted with these kind of emotions. So what is fascinating is when he's deeply into something, and he's always fascinated with something that's very complex, just because of his intelligence, and he wants to solve it in a very stylish way. So when you have that excitement of solving a very complex case, and then you are faced with an emotion that you had never faced before, is when it gets very interesting. So when he meets Anguri Devi in a film, when he's aware that Satyavati is there in a film, and there is an emotion that he can feel which is very visceral, not cerebral. He wants to change himself just to make her happy. So he is not used to these kind of emotions, and he is excited towards something else. So that is the conflict that has been like very carefully dealt in the film.
Okay, in fact, Dibakar has also spoken about when you were having this intimate moment with Swastika, and you guys were not getting the kiss right, and how he instructed Swastika to just make it like a surprise value.
I never knew that there was a kiss in this film.
Acha.
So it was not that we were kissing and we were not getting it right.
Okay.
There was no kiss in the film.
So he instructed her to just make it happen.
Yeah.
In a surprise.
Because Byomkesh in that scene is not aware that he's gonna be kissed. So he wanted it to be very organic.
All right. How's the experience of this entire Chinese element? Because we are aware of the fact that West Bengal, we've always had this entire communism angle, and all these things have always been there. So is it pertaining something from that context, or is it something
No,
else?
no, it's not. Presence is there, and I think the most important presence is the character of Calcutta that's inherent to the story
Right.
in this film, and what makes that character is why everybody was seduced, why Japanese were invading, why American GIs were still there, why Calcutta was the second most important city in the whole world for Britishers after London, and what was the thing that was keeping the underworld going. What was INA doing at that point of time? So all these aspects created that environment in Calcutta where a very amateur boy gets himself into this case and he becomes Byomkesh Bakshy. So it is a very interesting story. People ask me that, okay, I think I'm the 75th Byomkesh Bakshy if we think about theatre, TV and film.
Right.
So why again? So it is because of precisely this reason that this film talks about why an ordinary guy can become a hero.
Some of the dialogues are very interesting. आपका सच मेरा एक सिगरेट भी नहीं खरीद सकता ब्योमकेश बाबू. You find it interesting?
Of
Something
course,
like that?
of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Why do you find it interesting?
Because it is, when you watch the film, you'll get to know, okay, she's saying something which is not out of context, and at the same time it is so, say, stylish, that it can be discussed like this. आपका सच मेरा एक सिगरेट भी नहीं खरीद सकता ब्योमकेश बाबू, या सच के आसपास वाला झूठ पकड़ना मुश्किल.
Yeah, I think that I was coming to that.
Yeah.
सच के आसपास वाला झूठ पकड़ना मुश्किल होता है. That's
So all
interesting.
these dialogues, they are so true.
इस दुनिया में ऐसे ही कुछ नहीं
ऐसे ही
होता.
कुछ
I think
नहीं
that is the तकिया कलाम of Byomkesh.
नहीं, when
I
you,
think he has used
that's
that
what I'm
to-
saying. When you watch the
Context of the
film,
movie.
you will find it comes out like a reaction to an action. It's like answering your question, but out of the context, it's like this that we can discuss about. So it's very filmy and very stylish in that manner. But at the same time, when you watch the film, you'll be like, okay, it's one of the lines.
You've recently had PK, where I think the world knows you by Sarfaraz as well now.
Yeah.
And बहुत से I think चीज़ें उस पर बन चुकी हैं. It's become the biggest crosser of India ever. Do you think from a box office perspective, you've had two films, both are successful. Do you think from that perspective that because a lot of these younger actors they're coming right now, and the competition is becoming stiffer and stiffer. You're having some very interesting and big lineup of movies which are coming up. But do you think from this perspective, considering you having all these artistic leanings in terms of the way you just immerse yourself in the character?
I think it's post feeling. I mean, like when I say yes to a film, when I prep for a film, and when I actually shoot for the film, I don't think about anything else.
Right.
And it's very, very personal, very personal. And it's only when I'm done shooting for the film, like right now, when it's gonna release in the next few days, is when I just hope and pray that it does well, because it's the only way I could do the kind of films I'm doing.
Right.
You know, you get options, you get choices only when people want to hire you. So if your film does well, is only when you can have that kind of options. So that's when I think, okay, it should be commercially viable,
Right.
it should do well. But before that, I don't understand it, and at the same time, there are many parameters that are not in my hand. So I don't react to those parameters. I just react to the script and the filmmaker and his intent. That's it.
You know, something on a personal note that I'd like to just tell you that I've observed when we interviewed you for Shuddha Desi Romance, you were a very, very shy guy. It's like quite a distinct difference from what we saw in you last. So what exactly have you done in the last year or so? Is it a conscious decision to be more outgoing somehow?
No, I'm not outgoing. See, it's just that right now, it's very easy to read few books and then borrow ideas and opinions,
Right.
and then come across as somebody who's very intelligent.
Right.
But then this is something that I cannot pull off, seriously. I can see through the pretense, and it's very hard to act when I don't actually believe in something that I'm saying.
Right.
Right now, maybe with time, I've figured out, okay, few things that I am very sure of, that I really know, okay, these are the reasons why I work, and these are my aspirations, and this is exactly what I know, and these are the things that I don't know of. So I can discuss all those things with you very freely. But back then, and I think it was like...
And there was Pariniti Chopra as well, who talks a lot, so other people don't
and,
get
and
much
yes,
chance to
I,
speak.
I love to listen.
Right, you love to listen.
This is one thing that is very inherent. I love to listen and I speak less because I'm trying to figure out in my head what exactly. And there's something inside my head, and then when I say it, I think it's slightly distant. So that problem is still there. So I try my best to express myself, but then that distance is still there. So when somebody else is speaking, I would not say a word. Trust me.
With Pariniti, I think.
I would not say a word. I would sit
Right.
down, have my good time, and I would listen to it.
No, I think we like this wonderful change actually, and there's absolutely no complaints. Sushant, we've taken a few questions from your fans.
Sure.
There are lots of them. We'll just try and see. This is Upasana from Mumbai. Which actress is he willing to work next?
There are lots of them. I think I'm working with Alia, so that's one.
Right. That is
I've worked
Homie's film, right?
Yeah. And of course Anushka again, because first time we had only 8 to 10 minutes of scenes
Right.
together, and I find her to be very honest actor.
Right.
And it was a very good action reaction happening back then, and it was long back, but I want to relive those moments. So Anushka won. And
Are you working with Aisha in Pani by any chance? The girl who was there in black. Is she there in Pani?
maybe. So yeah, anybody who's like
Right.
really wants to do a film for the same reason
Right.
is why I'll be very excited to work with her.
And Alia is playing your wife in Dhoni?
No.
She is not, because that was a rumor as well. So who's opposite you in Dhoni? I think there are two girls in Dhoni, right?
But then I'm not allowed to
Okay.
say those
No problem.
aspects.
No problem at all. This is Deena from Singapore. Hello Sushant, which director you wish to work with in the future? Director you'd like to work with?
Again, there are many, like Vishal Bhardwaj, Anurag Kashyap,
Right.
Shimit Amin.
Shimit Amin, okay, that's a very interesting choice, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, I'm getting to work with Shekhar Kapoor and Dibakar Banerjee and Rajkumar Hirani in the first few years. So.
Right. And Neeraj Pandey now.
And Neeraj Pandey, so I couldn't ask for more.
And I think the best lot of directors, I think Neeraj Pandey is outstanding. All of them, in fact, all of them. This is Nikita Kulkarni from Mumbai. How difficult was it to portray a detective, and what training did he have to undergo? Did you have any training? You
Of
had
course.
some workshops, I believe.
I think for 4 to 5 months.
Right.
4 to 5, 6, I don't remember. But it was definitely 4 to 6 months when I trained for it. Trained in the sense I did my research for it.
Right.
And we were doing workshops. And there were so many things I was doing. I mean, like the most important thing is to, in your head, you need to convince yourself that this is 1940s and you could, and you have the authority to be the character. And that's very important. There's a very thin line between me pretending to be one and me actually sometimes in some takes believing that maybe yes, I am the character. So to get that correct, you need to spend time. And so 4 to 5 months I was doing everything that could help me to believe it.
This is Pralina from Kerala. Have you done any preparations for the MS Dhoni biopic?
Yeah, again the same answer.
Right.
You need to do as much as you want,
Right.
just to have that feeling. Okay, you're not pretending anymore, maybe, and you are the character. It's very tough. It can take your lifetime also. But then,
I believe your sister is a national level cricket
Yeah, she
player,
is,
so I
yeah.
think she has helped you out as well. That's
yeah, and they're like, there's a team who's helping me.
This is Pralina once again from Kerala. How much have you changed from Kai Poche to Detective Byomkesh Bakshy?
I think there are a few things that have changed. Like normally now I don't have to think about money that much, because of which you can make choices that you don't want to choose. So this is one very good change. The other thing, I think I had this angst against the prejudice that almost most of us have against TV actors. So that thing has, I think, gradually dissipated, and that's again a wonderful change. So I am not actually thinking about that. I'm just thinking about the other character that I'm supposed to play as an actor and not as a TV actor. So that's a wonderful change.
This is Soban from Belgaum. My question is, if not Bollywood, what profession had you been till now? I think you're an engineer.
I was supposed to be an engineer. I dropped out in my third year.
Right. So what profession you feel that you could have?
I think the last time I remember, I was thinking of getting into administrative service
Acha.
in my college. So I was thinking of sitting for a UPSC exam and becoming an IAS or an IPS or an IFS officer or something like that.
Right.
So maybe that.
You like reading a lot.
Yeah, I love reading. That's my favorite time pass.
What all authors have you read?
It's,
You like
it's
reading?
so different from each other. I like biographies. I like fiction as well. Murakami and Milan Kundera and Philip Roth. So all these writers are my current favorites. And then I like reading physics. I solve maths questions whenever I'm like slightly fuck my head.
That's
So
a very, very different sort of actor. Trust me. Trust me.
I'm like, this is very this is
He's
very
quoting from Socrates if you go to his Twitter page.
this is
you know
very
nothing.
distinct, you know. Whenever I'm like very stressed, I solve a maths question.
My God. My God. I've never met. I've met almost all of them in the last 8 years. But this is very interesting. This is Dhriti from Nepalganj, Nepal. What is your favorite sport, cricket or football?
Cricket, not because of the film that I'm doing, but because there was always an environment of cricket in my house when I was a young kid because of my sister who used to play cricket.
Right.
So just because of that, I've been like very active in playing it and also watching it. So
Right. Kai Poche, you played a cricketer as well.
Of course.
What is your dream role? Maha from Saudi Arabia.
Maybe James Bond. Yeah, James
James.
Bond. Yeah,
James Bond.
like the first Asian James Bond, something like that.
My God. And I think that is a possible because Pani I think is going international. So I'm sure that
So that's
that will
that
get
might
you
open up few opportunities.
few opportunities. My God. I hope it does. I hope it does. This is Fennel Seta from Mumbai. Is it true that you were a background dancer for a SRK in a dance show? Please share your experience.
Yeah, I was, and I've danced behind most of the stars that are there in the industry right now. Because back in 2004, 5, 6,
Right.
I used to dance behind all the stars in all these award functions. I was a part of Shamak Dawar's group.
Right.
So behind Shah Rukh, behind Shahid, Hrithik Roshan, Abhishek Bachchan.
You recently participated, I think, in Sabse Shana Kaun. You promoted
Yes.
Byomkesh Bakshy
Yeah.
with Shah Rukh Khan. So how was that experience?
Great experience. He's the first guy I was so influenced by because of whenever I remember back in those days when I wanted to be an engineer, I was so highly inspired by this man. In 2003 or 4, I went to his Swadesh ka set just to get an autograph, but unfortunately he was busy. And then back in 2005 and 6, I was dancing behind him as a background dancer, but I couldn't speak to him because again he was busy. When he called me as an actor and gave me this opportunity to promote my film on his show, and when he told me that he finds me one of the most promising guys, like I can't explain in words.
This is Anila from Germany. Do you believe in destiny?
Yeah, I believe in destiny, but I feel that it's very dynamic and it changes by the way you think. It might be vice versa, but I feel that it's very dynamic. There are lots of people who are very talented. There are lots of people who are very hardworking. I'm not saying that these things are not important, they are, but I think the most important thing is to believe. You have to start with that thing. If you can believe it, if you manage not to have even an iota of doubt in your head, you will find out a way to do it. Like somebody has said, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right.
My goodness, my goodness. He is a philosopher, man. Seriously. There's so many quotes that one can quote that he has tweeted from on his Twitter page, and very interesting. Would you call it destiny that you worked with Amir in PK, and he was supposed to be the bad guy in Byomkesh Bakshy. He was approached by Dibakar, and somehow he couldn't do it. How do you look at it? That if Amir Khan would have been the villain in Byomkesh Bakshy, how would that have been?
I think it would have been slightly different film because there is something that an actor brings with him,
Right.
And it kind of changes the whole film in some way. There is a ripple effect throughout the film, and we can't deny that fact. I'm not saying that it would have been better or worse or something. It definitely would have been different from what we have right now.
The identity of the villain, I think, is like a closely guarded secret. I think we just get to hear his voice, I think, in the second trailer, but we've not really got to. You feel that he can be a surprise package once the movie comes?
Of course, he's a brilliant actor. And I can give you one clue that I have done a workshop with him. He conducted the acting workshop that I was a part of once upon a time. And yeah.
Okay, so we'll keep on guessing. We'll keep on guessing about that. This is like a rapid fire that Priyanka is having from Bangalore. Big screen or small screen?
Doesn't matter.
Dance or acting?
Dance.
Script or director?
Script.
Priyanka or Deepika? That you'd like to work with maybe?
Oh, Deepika?
Deepika?
Yeah.
This is Nikita from Mumbai. It is interesting. With what sort of movie would you like to make your directorial debut? You like to direct at some point of time?
I've not thought about it. Everything about filmmaking fascinates me. Be it
Right.
cinematography, be it editing, or be
Right.
it even the music. I feel music is as important as actually shooting the film. So all these things are, fascinates me a lot. But then I've never thought about it up till now.
Something about the music of Byomkesh, because a lot is being said about it. Sneha Khanwalkar, I think she's primarily the main player.
I feel that as important as there are visuals, sound is very important part of the film. Almost what it can make or break a film, and the filmmaker who can actually use the both forms in a way that the whole is kind of more stronger than the sum of its parts is why we get influenced by it so much. Even there, if there is no music in a scene, it is a kind of music. So you need to understand as a filmmaker what exactly to use and how do you use it. I feel that everything that we have been doing for Byomkesh, one of the very important reason was to actually convey everything to a very contemporary audience. So yes trance, yes contemporary rock, yes funk, yes jive. So we said yes.
Who's in the background score?
No idea.
I think the promo, the background score is outstanding.
That song is Life is a Bitch, and I think there's a band in Delhi called Joint Family.
Right.
Was made it, yes.
This is Tejal from Mumbai. Was he nervous before doing this movie? Because the role seems to be quite challenging.
I was so excited, I can't tell you, because it was so challenging.
Right.
So I was not nervous.
Right.
There is nervousness every time, but then yes, I was more excited than nervous. That's how I'll put it.
Okay, this is Janatul from Bangladesh. How does it feel to be a detective? Is it a challenging role for him? How does it feel to be a detective? Because I still remember we had gone for the Mahurat in Calcutta,
Yes.
and the way you just got into the tram and the entire attire and all these factors. What sort of mind space were you in that to feel like a detective and to be in that entire garb?
See, there are few. Again, it's not very like okay. These are the few things that you need to think when you are supposed to play a detective. But yes, one very fundamental, very important thing that's there is that you have to observe, you have to listen, and you need to find a pattern. That's it. So you have to be genuinely inquisitive, genuinely curious about things that are there, and very observant. So that is one quality that everybody has.
Right. In fact, one final thing about Dibakar Banerjee, I was reading one of the interviews, and I think he's the sort of director who does not tell you exactly what he wants from you, and it's more of an organic process and how the entire sort of camaraderie and equation you have apart from the filmmaking, that really translates into what he really wants you to do, and you do it automatically rather than him telling you mujhe ye exactly chahiye.
Right.
Is it something that you found it interesting? I think you've called that he's one of the finest directors that you work with.
Yeah, just because of this reason, because whenever you're told that okay, this is the way to go, you can only do some things about it. Now, you can improve it, but that's the only possibility. But when you work with a director in a way that you kind of figure out what are the things that you are not supposed to do, is when there is a room for something very new, very personal. I don't know whether he always knew what he wanted. Maybe he was very sure of what exactly he wants, or what is the space that he's looking at. But maybe I was not ready to understand it. So it was he gave me that room to think that okay, I'm coming up with all these improvs, and this is what I'm thinking. So this is very organic, this is very honest attempt. But he was telling me smartly all these nuances, all these things not to think, not to do, not to go there, and he was creating that path for myself to actually walk.
Making it as precise as possible
Yes.
for you. Fantastic. Sushant Singh Rajput, lovely to have you as always on Bollywood Hungama, and looking forward to Detective Byomkesh Bakshy and all your future ventures, and we hope that you continue just this journey of discovering yourself, because it's a very interesting journey that you're on.
Thank you.
To be honest, I've not met any other actor who's basically into this sort of space, and which is very interesting actually. I think which personally, because I like to read a lot myself, so if someone is keen on reading and discovering through those aspects, I think that I personally find that very, very fascinating.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and all the best wishes.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks a lot. That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching. Hi, this is Faridoon Shahryar. For the most interesting celebrity interviews, do subscribe to Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.